short audio for you. It's from, looks like a YouTube post from the Jimmy Dore show. I believe it's pronounced Dore. Oh, by the way, I'm D. McClung, and this is Archer Monologues. So give this a listen. It's about 9.5 minutes long. I might even have a comment in there somewhere. All right? Listen up. Here it comes. So guess what? A lot of crazy stuff happening in the social media. YouTube. The beauty of YouTube, like I always said, was that there's a firewall in between advertisers and content creators. I don't talk to the ad people who run ads on this. We have a better firewall than Walter Cronkite ever had, right? So Google or YouTube goes out and gets advertisers, and then they run them on videos, and they have algorithms that put them on. Who knows how it all works, but they do. And they're changing it now. That was the beauty. Like, we get to say whatever we want, and people advertised, and they got to say whatever they want, and I didn't know either way. So it was a really nice situation, and everybody liked. YouTube sent out a thing August 30th. Here's Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk. He's a friend of the show. He says, so here's their new guidelines. Are you ready for the new guidelines? Their new guidelines say content that is considered inappropriate for advertising. So they're going to let everybody know, hey, just going to let everybody know that your videos might not get advertising if they don't fit our guidelines. And what are the guidelines? Content that is considered not advertiser friendly includes, but is not limited to, sexually suggestive content, including partial nudity and sexual humor. Sexual humor. Is that Benny Hill? Benny Hill wouldn't be okay? Sexual humor.
You know what? Already, I can't help but wonder how many pieces of advertising.
How many pieces of advertising? How about Carl's Jr. ads? They're all naked, eating with.
I don't know if I want their sexually suggestive advertisements surrounding my provocative.
They use tits to sell everything. They use tits to sell everything.
Is this for real?
This is for real. Tits because is offensive to our advertisers now.
Because you can't sell a music video. I mean, that's half the music industry.
How are you going to put a music video on?
Most of the music industry is cheesecake shots and tits and ass. That's all it is. That's all show business. That's how they make their money.
I was going to say thank you for cleaning it up by saying cheesecake, and then you said tits and ass.
So here is, it says violence including display of serious injury and events related to violent extremism.
What? So if you're reporting the news, that's going to bother an advertiser?
Yeah, so if I'm reporting on police brutality where they kill a guy, like when we reported in Minnesota where they shot that guy for nothing and they just sat there and held a gun on him until he bled out and died, which is what happened. That's no more. YouTube says no more. Also, inappropriate language. What? Inappropriate language, including harassment, profanity, and vulgar language.
You know that's
promotion. What? So let me finish. So promotion of drugs and regulated substances. So I guess. You can't do a 420 show. You can't do a show about pot. You can't do a show about... Can you do a show about alcohol? Can you do a booze show? I mean, we take booze advertising. Can we do that? What the F? What kind of... Anyway, here we go. Controversial. This is also inappropriate. Considered not advertising. Controversial or sensitive subjects and events, including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters and tragedies, even the graphic imagery, even if graphic imagery is not shown. That means the news. The news is often controversial. The news is also often covers sensitive subjects and national tragedies. The news. You guys aren't going to advertise the news anymore? That's what this is, the news. So Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk says, is there a video that doesn't violate these preposterous guidelines? YouTube is over. YouTube is over, party. That's what he says. There's another, I forget his name. It's the big YouTuber. I watch him sometimes. He's got like 6 million subscribers.
Philip DeFranco?
Yeah. That guy said 40 of his videos had been demonetized. We just checked how many of ours were demonetized.
Well, just on the second page there was already 2, but then there, so out of
we just checked
out of 30
2
or so.
pages of videos, which there's hundreds of pages of our videos.
Yeah, there's tons.
So we just checked 2 videos already demonetized. And what were the videos?
Mike Pence, something about Mike Pence's
already offended.
honesty, and it was you guys had flappers talking in front of a crowd.
Yeah, that live show we did.
Yeah.
And we put some of the videos up. That live show was a good time.
It was great.
What a good time.
Needed more sexual humor though.
And that one demonetized.
Yeah.
What? So that's like
Another one
demonetizing
was
a guy's
about-
stand-up
Oh, the
set.
one where Trump announced that Obama founded ISIS.
So we did a video about Trump announcing that Obama founded ISIS. He's the founder. That one also demonetized.
Yeah.
What? So I don't know if I hope Kyle, because this is not good.
Wow, because
This
it
is bad.
continues by saying.
By the
on
way,
that
because I
vi-
just built a studio built on this model, this YouTube model of putting up videos and making money.
Like, the thing is, advertisers don't have to advertise if they don't want. It
Right.
should be up to them. There should be some sort of decision
Yeah,
metric.
the advertiser said, "Hey, I don't want to advertise on
Yeah,
that guy's
that's
video."
fine. Exactly. The system needs to be designed so that advertisers make the decisions about what sort of videos they want to be ascribed to. But to like categorically go around and let some sort of AI algorithm figure out that a Mike Pence video is not okay to make money off of, it's crazy.
Even this message on the bottom, it says YouTube reserves the right to not monetize a video, as well as suspend monetization features on channels that repeatedly submit videos violating our policies. Sounds like a scam, YouTube.
So that's what I'm saying. I just so Hank challenged those demonetizations, and I'm like, well, maybe we should be careful about that because maybe there's some kind of an algorithm for that. Oh, you protested too much, we're shutting your channel down. And that's what that sounds like, right, Hank?
It could be that way, yeah.
That's what that sounds like. Hey, if you put too many videos, well, DeFranco had 40. He noticed
Well,
40
so-
videos they demand. So 40, is that enough videos?
Young Turks?
That's one for every day of the month plus 10 days.
TYT had 10% out of 30,000. TYT is a huge library. Aaron Wysocki,
And only
our-
10%.
Our friend over there, yeah. Yeah, he was tweeting
When
about
you
it.
say only 10%, what do you mean? you use the wrong
Yeah.
you use the your wrong adjective.
Yes.
You meant to.
It's ridiculous. Only
Yeah,
10%.
Yeah. So
How
Aaron's
much
got to
money
go.
is that?
He's the Young Turks, data.
Yeah, so
like,
10% of their revenue is gone.
Right.
That's a lot of
Right.
revenue.
Yes. Yes. Huge.
And what would they? Almost all the Young Turks videos would fall under this.
Right.
Almost every, just like Kyle from Secular Talk said, every one of his video would fall. It's called the news. I don't cover something unless it's controversial, unless it's a sensitive subject, unless it's relating to war. You can't do a video relating to war. But does General Electric, the war profiteers, do they get to advertise still? Are you going to ever say no? Hey, you guys make too much money off war. That's sensitive to our viewers. This is gross.
Right.
So this is the world. This is the brave new world we live in. This again, you can't get even this. You can't. You got to go through the biggest corporations in the history of man. Google. One of them, right?
So, you know what? If I look at this right now, how about all those videos that show people getting hurt from skateboarding?
Right.
Yeah.
What about so all those fail blogs?
Yeah. Like fight videos, blooper videos.
What about blooper videos?
Right.
What about those fail blogs?
And there's a lot of distasteful crap on YouTube. I mean,
It's like 90% of
Yes.
YouTube is this.
YouTube is
Yeah.
this huge forest
Those-
floor of clutter. You know
Those
what I mean?
are inoffensive politically speaking. They don't have. There aren't any politics to some Nimrod falling off a roof and crunching his nuts on the fence.
Right.
So is Noam Chomsky videos? Is he going to be allowed to put videos up? Noam Chomsky?
It sounds like they basically lowered the speed limit to 15 miles an hour, and then this way they can selectively enforce. If you become too much of a headache to somebody who's got their strings tied to YouTube, they can then take you down and get rid of you because, oh, look, you violated these extremely vague guidelines that nobody could possibly meet.
Nobody could ever possibly ever. So that means that YouTube, Google, could do whatever they're going to do whatever. That just says, hey, guess what? We're going to do whatever we want, whenever we feel like it. If you get out of line and you cross one of our advertisers, you're gone.
Yeah.
Because this world is run by corporations who need advertising revenue, and F you and your information, and F the news, and F everything.
It's no longer YouTube, it's their tube. We need an our tube. Yeah.
We need an hour tube.
Thought I'd pass that along to you folks. Kind of scary. Think about it. Another case of corporations, one in particular, YouTube, Google, violating its charter, which says it can't do what these guidelines just said, because that's, corporation stuff, and corporations don't have rights, and corporations can't just do whatever the fuck they want, because there are corporate laws telling them, no, you can't. But since corporations run this country now, we're slaves, we're peons, we're nobody. And Google is God. I like Google. I do a lot of searches. I use Google to search. I don't have to, I suppose. There are other search engines. But Google's there. And it's good. And it helps other people find me because they Google me. And ooh, that sounded dirty. Well, anyway, I just passed this along. It's on the public internet. It's on YouTube, and anybody can watch it if you got an internet, YouTube. Makes me think about my own channel on YouTube. Like, all of these shows, all my radio shows, are posted to YouTube. And if we get right down to the bottom line, it's like, Google, YouTube, owned by Google, is going to censor me. Going to shut me down. I'm not going to be allowed to post my radio show on YouTube. I mean, after all, a lot of what I talk about is controversial. And sometimes I even advocate for a cause like freedom, or suggest maybe that people should not obey the laws that are invalid or illegal. Nudity laws, for example. Dress codes. Big on dress codes. Big on being anti-dress codes. I post stuff about dress codes a lot. I ask people, I offer them a suggestion on how to deal with dress codes, which is basically disobey them and don't submit to them. And if you're in high school or whatever, you're high school, I remember high school, they give me a little manual, a little booklet at the beginning of the year. This is the school policies and guidelines, etc. And, it's got in there dress code, and you got to kind of read what it says. And says, you can't wear this, you can't wear this, you can't wear this, and so on and so on. And that you're going to be punished if you do. And it's almost every day that somewhere in this country, some Nazi fascist police state entity, like schools, impose illegal dress codes. Because dress codes are not allowed in a free society. Society. Free society. America's supposed to be that. It's not, but it's supposed to be. And a lot of people are delusional, and they think, oh, I live in a free country. And, well, you don't, and you haven't for quite a long time. And in fact, if you were born any time in the last 50 or 60 years, you've never seen a free country. Not in America. So I advocate, hey, high school kids, here's the deal. Dress codes are illegal. They're not allowed in a free society. So if they got a dress code at your school, which of course they do, because all schools in this country, all public schools, have dress codes. They have them in other places. You can't go to a beach naked, usually, anywhere in the country. You can't walk around your front yard nude anywhere in this country, pretty much. I'm thinking, unless you live out in the woods somewhere. Bless me. Gee, I tried to hit. I couldn't hit the button fast enough. All right. So all of my bodily functions are going on the air. So I advocate all the students in this country, all the adolescents, all the teenagers. I would go into grade school, elementary school, and so forth too, but let's just focus on high school students for one, and their parents, by the way. I advocate. Your school has a dress code. It's unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's anti-nature. It's anti-freedom. It's an anti-human being, to be honest with you. And it's not allowed in a free society. It just isn't. You can't have a free society and then say, oh, you're not free to wear what you want. Or not wear anything you want. I mean, that's just not freedom. And, there will be people that'll, like, come up with this stupid excuse, like, oh, we would have chaos. What about decency? And so, well, human body's not indecent. We know this from listening to the nudists. I won't get into the nudist thing here, but nudists are a little not exactly 100% on the money on this concept. But I'll talk about that another time. So this Google, and anyway, dress codes. So if I advocate my suggestion to say teenage students in America is don't obey the dress codes, ignore it. Of course, they're gonna come down on you. In which case, you best be prepared to fight back and exercise your rights, your freedom. I prefer the word freedom over rights, but exercise your freedom. The freedom that you don't have. Establish freedom. Tell yourself, I'm not going to put up with this bullying tyranny anymore. I'm not going to allow these people to bully me around and terrorize me with their dress codes. You're not going to do it anymore. So all your students in America, tens of thousands of them, or hundreds of thousands, millions, whatever, students in America, I openly call for them to refuse to submit to dress codes. And I advocate the parents stand up with their children here and say, no, you're not telling my kids what to wear. And you're not going to suspend them from school for wearing a t-shirt you don't like or showing too much shoulder. That's just absurd. Oh, you can't wear that to school because your shoulder is showing. I'm a little bit. It just boggles the mind. But at any rate, I openly advocate. One, defy the rules and the rulers. Openly. And stand your ground and refuse to submit to tyranny and bullying by the public schools through their dress code. What I'm advocating here, what I'm supporting here is the concept of a free society where people are actually free to do as they please, as long as they don't hurt anyone else. As long as you don't violate someone else's rights, you're good to go. But as far as dress codes are concerned no, we can bully you. We can tell you, we can terrorize you, we can tell you, you can't wear that, or you'll be punished. And that's not done in a free society. So it goes to show you that, in every school in the country, I'm guessing, has a dress code, and every school in this country, therefore, every school in this country, public school I'm talking about here primarily, is violating the rights of the people that attend that school, the human beings that have the same rights as any other human being. Created equal and all that. Constitution is quite clear on this. And since public schools are a part of the government, they shouldn't be, but they are. And I advocate that schools be abolished, public schools be abolished and reestablished as, community schools. Owned, operated, and run by parents, primarily. Intelligent, educated, civilized, decent, logical parents. That's asking a lot, but it's better than being run by fascist Nazi police state bastards. And I'm going to guess just about every school in this country is run by those kind of people. If they allow or permit a dress code in their school, then they're bad guys. They're not freedom-loving people, and they don't give a shit about your freedom. They're tyrants and bullies, and they should be treated like tyrants and bullies. And just remember, tyrants and bullies do not stop being tyrants and bullies on their own accord. You have to force them to stop. So, as far as the dress code is concerned, don't just go to school with that. I'm going to wear what I want, and then they're going to expel you, and then you're going to make a fuss, and probably get on a YouTube video or something, and voice your concern or outrage. But nothing's going to happen because nobody's going to actually take action to stop this criminal exercise, this tyranny, this bullying tactic of telling you what you can and cannot wear in school or anywhere else. This applies to the workplace and public and walking in the park, etc. The indecency laws, he was charged with public indecency, or he was charged with, what's that word? Indecent exposure, and stuff like that. These are all invalid laws, and they don't belong in a free society. I mean, if you're going around pissing on people's legs, on downtown Fairmont, for example, then that's a different crime. That's a different state of thing. You're actually violating someone else's right not to be pissed on. That has nothing to do with the fact that it's only indecent in the fact that the government puts people in jail for doing natural things, and so on, so on, so on. There's lots of more to say about that, but I'll tell you later. I'll get into that later. The basic point is, I advocate openly on Facebook and YouTube and wherever else I happen to be on the internet, and in public, in life, in real life, when I talk to people in my neighborhood or in my community. I advocate. If I talk to a student, the first thing one of the first things I tell them is, your school has a dress code. Disobey it. Violate it, disobey it, disregard it, ignore it, whatever. If they try to punish you for it, then sue the bastards. You might not win, because the courts are in cahoots with the fucking bullies. Duh. So anyway, here's the deal. I suggest you go down to the school, your parents, and as many friends that you can get, and classmates, get them all together, join them up, and kind of form a little group, a little army of freedom fighters, so to speak, and go to the school and tell the principal, no, you're not doing this dress code thing anymore. As of now, it's abolished, repealed, gone, history, or else. And if you don't do that, as of today, right now, then tomorrow, your history, Mr. Principal. Because fascist, pig, Nazi bastards are not allowed to be principals of schools in America. It's a crime. It's also a violation of the corporate charter. Public schools are corporations. They have a charter. And they violate that because corporations are not allowed to violate human rights. It's in their charter. Look it up. Corporate law. Okay, so maybe it's not in there. I might just be making that up. If you got a corporate charter, I'm sure somewhere in that corporate charter it says that you have to obey the laws of a corporation. And governments, being a corporation themselves, can, in fact, make up rules and regulations concerning corporations because they're created by the government. So if the United States government, which is a corporation, violates corporate law, then we can abolish the government. And it says so in various legal documents in history. Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and so on. So I advocate that. I openly advocate that. Now, I don't advocate violence. I'm not talking about beating people up and killing them. That's what cops do. I'm talking about standing up for your rights and demanding that your rights be respected by the public school, by the principal in that school, by the teachers in that school, by the Board of Education of that school system. Don't put up with it. Just tell them, no, you're not doing that anymore. You have the right. You have the power. If you do it right, if you actually, stand together, united against these tyrannies and these bullies, these Nazi fascist police state bastards, and yes, they are. And that means any school, any public school that has a dress code, and you can't wear this, or you can't wear that, or you must wear this, etc. They're bullies. And they're fascist bastards. And you need to stop them. Because they're not going to stop. They're going to continue turning the schools into a prison concentration camp. Like Nazi Germany. Exaggeration? Yeah, right. Think about it. So, I advocate, I openly call for all students and their parents, if they're bright enough to comprehend what freedom is, if they're not like freaking redneck idiots, like a lot of Americans are. I said that out loud. Yes, I did. The statistics seem to prove that I'm correct. Alright. Then you tell your principal, and if the principal does not do what you say, respect freedom, and respect your freedom and the freedom and the rights of, the rights of all the students equally, then that principal needs to go. He has committed a crime against humanity on a smaller scale than, worldwide. He's crimes against the human beings that utilize the school. And it's time to stop them and make them understand you're not going to be a bully in this school system anymore. And I guarantee you, if 300 students in a high school, like when I went to high school, there was like 350 students in the high school, and which means there were at least 350 parents, or twice that if they have a mother and father in the home. And if those 350 students gotten together and agreed, which is difficult to get anybody to unanimously agree on something, but how many? 10% of the student body says, no, Mr. Principal, you're not going to tell us how to dress. Period. End of story. Case closed. Not going to happen anymore. If you do it again, if tomorrow the dress code is still there, you're going to be taken out of the school and removed from school permanently, and you're not going to be allowed to come back in. If we have to physically lift you off the ground and carry you out. That's like violence, I suppose. Yes? Well, revolution is violent. Being a freedom fighter sometimes requires that you actually fight for your freedom. As opposed to modern American military that goes to foreign countries and just murders people indiscriminately, like the bastards they are. So, I just wanted to point out after the video, or the audio, on YouTube, that I can't talk about these things on the internet. I can't post this particular program on YouTube. It's going to be censored. It's going to be forbidden, banned. This program that I'm doing right now. Is that true? You think it'll come to that? I guess we'll find out, because I am posting this to YouTube through my radio station, which, by the way, is this one, and it's called D. McClung's Archer Monologues. So, enjoy it. That's all for now. Catch you in a little bit.